You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful humans. Happy Friday, happy Venus Day, and happy April Fool's Day. It's officially April. And if you're curious, why do we celebrate April Fool's Day? Stay tuned because I'm going to give you a little breakdown, a quick breakdown of the history. I was curious myself. And if you ever wondered what it would be like to be born on April Fool's Day, well, you can just ask Logan Paul if you know who that is. Actually, kind of the perfect representation of an Aries born on April Fool's Day. If you don't know, Logan Paul is a really big YouTube celebrity. He was the one who challenged, I can't remember which boxer, to a match. And he and his brother, I think, became famous for doing pranks and things like that on YouTube. So really interesting that he was born on April Fool's Day. Also, Mackenzie Davis, Debbie Reynolds. Oh, she was born on April Fool's Day. How sweet. We love Debbie Reynolds. Also, Susan Boyle. Remember Susan Boyle from, I think it was America's Got Talent or one of those shows? She has that angelic voice. Rachel Maddow was born on April Fool's Day. Yeah, some interesting Aries born on this day. Also celebrating birthdays this weekend. Hans Christian Andersen celebrating from the grave. He was born on April 2nd. Marvin Gaye was born on April 2nd as well. Let's see, Quavo will be celebrating a birthday, probably a pretty fiery celebration for that Aries. And on Sunday, we have Alec Baldwin celebrating his solar return. Marlon Brando was born on April 3rd. Amanda Bynes was born on April 3rd. Okay. Sunday really packs a punch when it comes to celebrity birthdays. Alec Baldwin, Marlon Brando, Amanda Bynes. Eddie Murphy is celebrating a birthday this Sunday. Paris Jackson, Michael Jackson's daughter. Kobe Smulders from How I Met Your Mother. Doris Day, Adam Scott, Jane Goodall. Wow, Leona Lewis, a long list of people, a long list of Aries celebrating their birthdays this Sunday. Jenny Garth as well. So that gives you an idea of the spicy personalities that were born out of this weekend or these next couple days. But if you're curious, let me know what your guesses are. Why do we celebrate April Fool's Day? Happy April Fool's Day to you too as well. Let's do a little mini exploration of why we started pranking people on this day. And also, if you're watching either live or later, let me know if you did any April Fool's Day pranks today. If you pranked anybody, if you were pranked. I usually don't put that much thought and effort into it, to be honest. But I know some people get really into April Fool's Day. So let me know what you did to celebrate. So I was looking into it. According to history.com, which feels like a pretty reputable source, April Fool's Day has been celebrated for several centuries by many different cultures. Its exact origins kind of are mysterious, though. We don't exactly know why we prank people or celebrate on April Fool's Day. Many historians believe it dates back to when the calendar changed back in France, 1582, setting the scene. Okay, they changed from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. And the Julian calendar, same as the Hindu calendar, the new year began around the spring equinox, around April 1st. Many cultures still celebrate the new year right around this time of year, right around the spring equinox. But for whatever reason, the Gregorian calendar decided to start in January. And so people who were slow to adapt to the change of the calendar failed to recognize that the new year was actually going to start in January now, and they continued to celebrate it through the last week of March into the beginning of April. And those people were known as April Fools. They became the butt of jokes and pranks and things like that because they weren't up to speed. They weren't with the news, and they didn't know that it was no longer considered the new year, at least in that part of the world. Seems kind of cruel to me, honestly, but sometimes April Fool's pranks are a little cruel. I promise during this live stream, I will not pull your leg or prank you. I'm not that clever today. I don't have anything planned up my sleeve. There was also April Fool's Day linked to festivals like Hilaria, which is Latin for joyful, celebrated in ancient Rome at the end of March. It involved people dressing up in disguises, mocking other citizens, even higher ups in society. It was also said to be inspired by the Egyptian legend of Isis, Osiris, and Seth. Not familiar with that legend, but this is what I'm saying. There's like many cultures who celebrate all different things around this time of year, around the spring equinox. It's a time of renewal, rebirth. We're feeling that energy coming off of last night's Aries new moon as well. So definitely a theme of being reborn this time of year in the spring. In the 18th century in Britain, this tradition became a 2-day event starting with hunting the gawk, in which people would send phony errands. Gawk is apparently a word for a certain kind of bird, a symbol for a fool, the cuckoo bird. And anyway, so lots of different cultures are doing hoaxes around this time of year. And you know, modern day. Let me know also, if you're watching, what's the most outrageous April Fool's Day prank or joke that you've experienced? Maybe not this year, but any year. I remember when I was a kid, I had this whole elaborate plan that I never followed through with, but I wanted to get a cast put on my leg. I was obsessed with this plan, you guys. I had like a giant envelope that was like secret on my door and all these things. I wanted to show up to school with a cast on my leg on April Fool's Day, and then the next day be like, oh, actually, I was just kidding. I'm really glad that I never followed through with that, to be honest, because it's a horrible idea. Anyway, that's a brief history of April Fool's Day. If you're wondering why we all are a little bit more jovial, maybe the pranksters come out to play this time of year, there's a deep history there, and most likely related to the changing of the calendar. So it's funny that we still talk about the astrological new year being in Aries season, being at the spring equinox, definitely following more of the Julian calendar than the Gregorian calendar in astrology. So today we're going to walk through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Whenever you're finding this video, if you want to skip through Friday, maybe you found us on Saturday or Sunday, I'll go ahead and put chapters in the description and on the timeline so you can just jump ahead, get the forecast you're looking for, get the information you need. I will say though, Friday and Saturday, the transits are really kind of blending together. There's a lot happening all at once over the course of these 2 days. So you might want to tune into the Friday portion, even if you're finding this on Saturday. So let's talk about what's going on today. Let's just start with right here, right now. Pull up the chart. And oh, we're still a day behind. This is apparently my April Fool's Day prank for you guys. Not very clever. Okay, here we are, April 1st. The moon still in Aries at 16 degrees. The moon met up with Mercury last night, and you'll see it made another conjunction early this morning, overnight, to Chiron. So that is probably what we're feeling or experiencing first thing this morning. With this new moon in Aries, there's been a lot of energy behind it. There's been a lot of stamina and drive behind it. Maybe you're getting fresh ideas. You're ready to jump into action. I will say, though, there is kind of a transformative quality to this new moon, maybe more so than a normal new moon in Aries, because there's a lot going on with Chiron right around the time of the new moon. And I know the past couple days, as the moon has been moving through Pisces, myself and a lot of people I know have experienced feeling really tired, really, really tired. Like, I know I have. Let me know if you've experienced the same thing. I've been falling asleep on the couch at like 8 p.m., just really struggling to keep that motivation up. Now, the Aries new moon does bring that fresh motivation, does bring that spark of energy. However, with a lot of activation from Chiron, which we'll be going through in the next couple minutes, it's really asking us, what do you need to let go of still? It's really highlighting our wounds or our beliefs that are limiting us, and that can bring the energy down and weigh it down. So it's all a matter of how you adapt to it, how you flow with it, how you're willing to open yourself up to the energy, open yourself up to the healing potential here with Chiron. But don't be surprised if old triggers start popping up, if they already have, or over the next couple of days, because Chiron's been in Aries for months. Okay, Chiron is slow moving. Chiron is known as the wounded healer, just to catch you up to speed if you're not familiar. It's an asteroid, an icy outer body in our solar system. And Chiron in mythology, you can look deep into the mythology of who Chiron was, but he represents our deepest wounds, and he's the little key. So if you look on the chart here, you can see him over here. He looks like a little key at 12 degrees in Aries right now. And the key can be looked at as the ability to unlock our healing potential. Once we work through our own deepest wounds and learn how to heal ourselves, we can then share those gifts, share that healing knowledge, healing power with other people as well. And I think it's really interesting, a note here on Chiron. You'll see too if you look at the chart, what's very close to Chiron? The sun. So that's the major transit we're going to be talking about in just a moment that goes exact tonight. But with so much going on with Chiron, I really want to focus on Chiron and Aries for a moment. So Chiron has been transiting through Aries, like I said, for months. Let me see if we can get an exact date. And when Chiron is in Aries, Aries is known as this childlike energy. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's playful. It has a lot of energy behind it, a lot of motivation, raw power. It's kind of like that, like toddler stage, you know, where kids are just running around like crazy and they have unbridled energy. That's Aries energy. But with Chiron being in Aries, and it has been since 2020. So think about the past couple years. Again, Chiron moves very slowly. It will be in Aries for a while longer as well. We've seen this huge focus on childhood trauma and childhood wounds on social media. It almost feels like, I don't want to call it a trend because it's really powerful that so many people have been diving back into themselves, diving into their own childhood traumas, their own childhood wounds. But I think this activation of Chiron around this new moon, this conjunction between the sun and Chiron tonight, Mercury will meet up with Chiron tomorrow. It's really asking us to pay attention to what our inner child is trying to tell us. Triggers that pop up are here to show us an unmet need, right? Triggers are here to show us where we can still do more healing. So if you're finding yourself getting irritated, maybe an old story you thought you had closed the chapter on is coming back up, ask what little you needs right now. What would the child version of you need in this situation? That version of you still lives inside of you. And so I think there's really a major focus on inner child healing with Chiron and Aries specifically this weekend, especially because under this new moon in Aries, a lot of people are talking about the fiery potential, the fiery energy, like going towards our goals, starting something new, all very much favored under this new moon in Aries. However, it's often when we're ready to jump into the next chapter, when we're ready to start something new, when we have this big idea, that old story pops back into our head, that the old wounds start creeping up. So, you know, if that's happening to you, really, you're kind of right on track. And also take time this weekend to really sit with it, listen to it, and figure out, how can I heal myself? How can I give this wounded part of me what it needs? We talked about this yesterday, But if you watch the Oscars, I feel like this is the perfect example of how you can kind of nurture your inner child. If you saw this moment, I am like truly obsessed with it. Hold on, let me see if I can find a picture really quick for you guys. There was an adorable meme, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but basically when Lady Gaga and Liza Minnelli were presenting, I think, the final award of the night, maybe Best Picture, and the mic caught them. Here, I'll just pull this up for you guys. The mic caught them in this beautiful little moment where Liza Minnelli's getting a little old. You know, she's getting up there. She might not be on her A game necessarily. So anyway, here they are. They're presenting Best Picture, and Lady Gaga like finished Liza Minnelli's sentence, and then she whispered to her, "I got you." And Liza Minnelli was like, "I know." I talked about this a ton yesterday, but I want to bring up this picture because if you're struggling with any sort of inner child wounding, healing today, I just want you to picture your adult self is Lady Gaga. Look at her. She's in a power suit. She's capable. She's peaking. It's Aries season. She's feeling it, right? Liza Minnelli is your little inner child. She's right there, and you just got to be like, I got you. You know, if something comes up, remember, IFS therapy is a beautiful practice to look into, or just maybe start to open yourself up to, but let the adult part of yourself take care of the inner child part of yourself with all this Chiron activation. Okay, this is even better, right? Like the adult you is just like, oh yes, let my inner child shine. Little Liza Minnelli. I mean, I could not be more obsessed with that moment that happened. So anyway, that's my little bit on Chiron and Aries. And as we go through the transits, just keep that in mind. Keep in mind that your inner child might be acting out a little bit over the next couple days, because when the sun meets up with Aries, this happens exactly at 8 p.m. Pacific time tonight. So kind of starting our weekend, we're feeling the energy now. It's within a degree, but we're starting our weekend off on a bit of a intense note. When the sun meets up with Chiron, it's like illuminating those wounds, right? The sun and Chiron are at the same place. It's shining brightly on those wounds. And you can also, this is often called cazimi in astrology. So at the exact point the sun and Chiron meet in the sky, it's like Chiron's energy takes over for just a moment at 8 p.m. tonight. So I would really pay attention to this evening, what comes up for you. That's going to be a really powerful moment when the sun and Chiron meet up. And, you know, going back to childhood trauma, childhood triggers, that could be coming up for you. Also, Mercury is transiting very closely behind, as we'll talk about in a moment. So this could be an opportunity for a healing conversation, a healing realization. Really, though, we have to be willing to be vulnerable and go there, which can be a little bit more difficult to do in Aries season because we can be very headstrong and just wanting to push forward, move forward, take action. And Chiron, you know, anytime we're dealing with healing, not even just with Chiron, it's like, got to slow down and give yourself time to process it. It might be why, if you felt like you've been really tired this week, it could be something surfacing and coming up, getting ready to be released, or maybe you've been actively releasing something, letting go of an old story, and tonight or over the weekend could bring that moment, that realization of like, okay, I'm moving forward on my healing journey. Really, with these planets, these bodies meeting up in Aries, there is this push to move forward, right? We want to keep going. We have a lot of energy. We can take a lot of action. But first, we have to be willing to sit with ourselves, heal ourselves, give space for those parts of ourselves that are wounded still, that are still working through whatever they're working through. You know, we're all different. We're all on our own journey. So just really give yourself grace and space to process over the next couple of days. I know that we have the new moon in Aries. A lot of people are hyped about it. And like, as you should be, have fun, put yourself out there, take action. Also, I think this Aries moon energy, something really potent about it or powerful about it is that we can heal ourselves, we can process emotions by simply moving our body when the moon is in Aries. This could be a really great time to take up a new movement practice, whether that's committing to dancing around your house for 5 minutes every day, whether that's trying a new workout class, maybe taking your dog on a walk today. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but moving your body is going to move your emotions when the moon is in a fire sign, specifically when the moon is in Aries. So I would definitely recommend movement if those triggers are coming up. It could be as simple as like if you're feeling yourself getting really emotionally agitated, which is certainly possible when the moon is in Aries, we can be a little bit more impulsive and just irritable with our emotions. Take a beat. Go take a walk. Even tell the person maybe that you're in conflict with or that is holding that space for you to just kind of like work through whatever you're working through. Like, hey, I just need 5 minutes, and just go take a walk around the block. Go do 20 push-ups. Go do some jumping jacks. I don't know. Whatever works for you. Put on your favorite song on some headphones. Shut the door. Scream. I don't know. Move the energy through you. That's the assignment of the moon in Aries. And doing so could kind of launch you in a new direction because we have this potential with the new moon. So the moon formed that conjunction to Chiron at 1 a.m. That was overnight. And that could have started bringing an emotional awareness to what needs healing, activating those emotions that are hidden within our deepest wounds. Old pain could be coming up today. Really allow yourself, again, to witness whatever's coming up. Hold space for yourself. Hold space for your inner child. And allow your adult self, too, to be like, okay, like sometimes, little kids are all fired up and they just need to like scream and let it out. And I think sometimes in our society, we see that as bad, or we don't let children release energy in that way. But it can be kind of a healthy release if there is a healthy outlet and they're not, harming anybody else. Like, ask your inner child what they need. I could say that over and over again. If there's one message to take away from this weekend, give your inner child what they are craving, what they need in a healthy way. But, give them what they have been needing for maybe a really long time. At 2 p.m. this afternoon, the moon gets support from Mars. So you might feel the energy picking up, especially if you have been tired over the past couple of days. When the moon and Mars meet up at 2 p.m., or they support each other, I should say, at 2 p.m., it's like, okay, keep pushing, keep moving forward. We get this kind of boost of energy behind us, pushing us forward. This can also highlight your leadership qualities. It can give you the respect and authority to be able to lead a team, or just to be able to lead yourself. This could be a moment where you do really step into that inner parent or that inner adult and you're like, no, we got this, be the Lady Gaga here when the moon forms a sextile to Mars. And we'll just have the drive and stamina to push across the finish line of whatever we're working on, or at least push towards the finish line. This is really potent when Mars is supporting this new moon in Aries, because Mars is the ruler of Aries. So it's a really fiery new moon. It's maybe bringing in new ideas, new energy, fresh perspective. And Mars is like, you got this. It's helping us take courageous action towards whatever the intentions we're setting under the new moon. Then at 7 p.m., the final connection the Aries moon makes on Friday is another supportive angle, this time to Saturn. So you can almost view the energy of Friday as like, okay, we're starting off, and it's like, we're aware of maybe some triggers or wounds when the moon and Chiron meet up first thing or overnight. But then by midday, we're going to feel energy peaking. We're going to feel that buildup of energy. You might be feeling that right now, depending on when you're watching. And then it'll come back down with the moon forming a sextile to Saturn, helping us pump the brakes, slow us down a little bit, bringing a dose of responsibility, asking us to kind of be that authority figure for ourselves, for other people. Definitely a theme of leadership throughout the day on Friday. If you are hoping to take a leadership role, this is a really great day to do it, to be honest, especially under the new moon. It's like if you want to declare yourself as a leader in whatever situation you're in, today's a beautiful day to do it. Just make sure you don't end up as part of an April Fool's joke. Just kidding, but still. Anyway, it is possible by the end of the day, especially if the energy peaked really highly for us, that we'll kind of crave solitude or quiet or just slowness under this sextile between the moon and Saturn. Again, this is 7 p.m. Pacific time, so late Friday night. But interacting with family members will feel more protective. So being around close people we trust, like family, close friends, will feel especially fulfilling, especially older people, elders in our community. There's a lot to be learned from them when the moon and Saturn support each other. So we might not feel the most like affectionate or loving under this angle, but there's a lot of respect and there's a lot to be learned from people in positions of greater experience than us when the moon and Saturn are supporting each other. Also, even though we're not necessarily affectionate or super loving, I would say, under this transit, we can still be sentimental in a very sensible way. Saturn is very practical. So it's like it's like kind of that, have you ever had a boss like tell you good job, but it's not necessarily, of course, this is very stereotypical, but I'm like picturing a male boss rather than a female boss being like, good job, pat on the back, or like that father figure. That's the moon forming a sextile to Saturn. Like, okay, good work. Like it's very like sensible, still definitely sincere, and the sentiment is there, but it's not going to feel super fuzzy and warm. Either way, great day for leadership and great day to be your own leader, right? Like really step into leading yourself, leading all parts of yourself, taking responsibility for your inner child and being that inner adult today, I think is just what keeps coming through for me. Aw, I'm on multiple screens. Hey, Court, thank you so much. That means the world to me. I really appreciate your energy being here. I love your energy. Let's move on to Saturday and what's going to continue happening with this Chiron activation. So we have the Sun and Chiron meeting up 8 p.m. Pacific time Friday night. We'll definitely still be feeling that energy carrying into Saturday. Fast forward to 6:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, all Pacific time. Mercury and Chiron meet up now. So look at the chart here. We'll fast forward a day and you'll see Mercury is now at the same point as Chiron and the Sun. This is a triple conjunction we are experiencing on Saturday throughout the day. So if it feels like maybe some things are being dug up on Friday and we're like, forgot that was there, forgot like that old wound was, I had a moment like that last night. Seriously, you guys, like just a little minor moment of a misunderstanding. And then I was like, all these feelings that I thought I had resolved were coming up about unworthiness and not feeling included and not feeling wanted. And I had to talk myself off a ledge. I even knew, I'm like, this is not rational. Like, we worked through this, Olivia. Like, adult Olivia was like, it's okay, girl. I got you. To my inner child, like, we know you had some issues, but we've moved past that, but still it doesn't mean that those feelings don't sometimes resurface. So just pay attention to that throughout the weekend. When Mercury and Chiron meet up, this is a point on Saturday where we could have some really healing conversations, realizations. Mercury is the planet of communication. So we're mentally processing our wounds. This is a very rational way of looking at our emotions at this point on Saturday morning. If you're falling into old communication patterns, that could definitely come up for you with Mercury conjunct Chiron. How you're communicating could be as a past version of yourself that was wounded. So also pay attention to like what's coming through and how it's coming through for you. Even how you're talking to yourself mentally could be an old version of yourself coming through. So definitely pay attention to that. Ask what's trying to come through. And going back to the inner child, give your inner child some space to speak and communicate to you on Saturday. Mercury conjunct Chiron wants us to have the realization, have the conversation, and can really, with this all happening in Aries, doing so can push us forward, can give us the energy to keep moving forward. So there's a lot of potential here. We just have to be willing to go there. And then the Sun meets up with Mercury at 4 p.m. tomorrow. So it's all happening. It's all happening within a 24-hour period. The Sun, Chiron, and Mercury meeting up in this powerful triple conjunction can bring restlessness, especially with the Sun and Mercury being involved. It makes things feel like they're going at a fast pace. We could be a little bit more impulsive as well with all of this happening in Aries. And it's going to feel like you want to speed through the healing. It really is. It's going to feel like you want to be like, okay, we did this, I'm done with it. But I would urge you to just pace yourself, slow down, know that it might come in waves. It might not all happen at once. Also, brain dumping with Mercury involved, journaling, writing, talking to a trusted confidant, friend, family member, really going to be helpful in processing whatever is coming up for you. And also holding space for other people to do the same. Remember, we're all experiencing the same energy, you guys. So other people are working through similar things as you are, even if they don't express it in the same way. So yeah, as much as you want to rush through things, and that's something that's been coming up too with the Sun and Mercury transiting so closely to one another all week. I was meeting with some of my friends last night, and not only did we all agree, oh my gosh, we've been so exhausted, but it feels like there's this rush or there's this need to go, 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 do. And that's Aries season. That's Aries season, baby. Like it feels like this rush, like do it now. And that can be exhausting, and that can trigger old wounds. So remember, just pace yourself, pace yourself, pace yourself. There's no race to the finish line, okay? We're all going to get where we need to be when we need to be there. So just know that there's no rush, there's no deadline, there's no timeline to your healing either. Healing is not linear. It's a bumpy ride. It's one step forward, one step back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. So give yourself grace, give yourself space, and really try to slow down and process whatever is coming up. The moon's still in Aries for most of the day on Saturday, and overnight, Friday night into Saturday, 3 a.m. Pacific time, so you'll definitely feel this if you wake up early on the East Coast or in another part of the world. The moon and Venus form a nice supportive angle. That same supportive angle we were talking about yesterday or Friday to Mars and Saturn. Now the moon meets up with Venus. Because remember, Mars, Saturn, and Venus are all very close to one another in Aquarius right now too. And we'll be talking about that more next week. But when the moon forms a sextile to Venus, it can help us lean into love, lean into affection. Maybe you wake up on Saturday morning like, the world is so beautiful. It can definitely help us see the beauty, especially if we're working through something painful with everything we've been talking about with Chiron. This nice moment with the moon and Venus can help us see the beauty in the healing. It can help us work together with someone else. It's very diplomatic, harmonious, helping us to bounce something off of someone else, feel nurtured by someone else, accept love and affection, give love and affection. That can be a beautiful part of your healing process, knowing that you can rely on other people, that you can feel safe with other people to share these things. So don't be afraid to open yourself up a little bit on Saturday, especially, or really throughout the weekend. Aries energy likes us to be independent. It tries to convince us that we can do everything by ourselves, all alone, and that's not the case. So Venus and the moon are here Saturday morning to be like, hey, maybe reach out to someone else that you love, It doesn't even have to be like this deep conversation about what you're going through. Even just like being around someone who makes you feel good, who gives you love, or showing that to someone else can maybe get you out of your head a little bit. Lots of headstrong energy with all this Chiron shit going on in Aries. So, the moon and Venus are like, let's just lean back into our heart, lean back into love, lean back into sensuality, our own body. That'll be a theme throughout the end of the weekend too. But maybe the pinnacle moment of the entire weekend comes Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific time. The moon squares off to Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth. This Saturday could be a moment of like, I just like explosion. Like, I don't want to say it as bad, but it's like huge trigger could come up for you when the moon squares off to Pluto. Tempers could flare. There could be power struggles. Tensions reach a boil. There could be conflict. It'll be really hard to hold ourselves back from expressing anger because remember, the moon is in Aries. It makes us feel the need to do something about our emotions. Especially if there's something you've been repressing or something that's been weighing on your heart. It's like, got to get it off our chest when the moon squares off to Pluto. It'll feel like this moment where something needs to die and be let go, and that can kind of be explosive at times. Know, though, that Pluto is known for transformation and alchemy. So even if something feels really intense, really uncomfortable, even sad, angry, conflicting, know that it's clearing things out. It's burning things away so you can rise like a phoenix from the ashes, so you can be reborn under this new moon in Aries. We're still feeling the energy of the new moon. So all of this fiery activation, wounds being triggered, emotional conversations, the moon squaring off to Pluto, it could be this moment in your life where you're like, we finally have to put this to bed. We finally have to just like let it go. You know, that's the moon squaring off to Pluto. Release can definitely be cathartic. Just make sure you're not burning the people you love around you in the process, especially if people are trying to help you, people who love you. Sometimes we get into a mode where we're like, especially with Aries energy, we're like, we have to do this alone. And, you know, we have a hard time accepting other people's love and graciousness. Or I've said this before, I am 1,000% guilty of this. Sometimes we treat the people who love us most the worst because we know that they will still love us. Try not to do that. And, you know, especially if there's a power struggle playing out, like, not helpful for healing. So just keep healing at the forefront of your mind. Stay on the course. Stay on the healing journey, okay? We've done so much work so far, regardless of where you are in your life. You've done some work, you're here, which means that you are working on yourself in some way, shape, or form. And stay the course. Know that these triggers are coming up so you can burn them away, release them, and start fresh. The moon moves into Taurus on Saturday night at 10 p.m. Oh, no, excuse me, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Okay, so when the moon is in Taurus, it's like I really hear like return to the body, return to sensuality, because Taurus rules the physical. And, you know, the Aries moon, I've said this a couple times, but it's all about the head. It's very headstrong. It's like this raw aggression, this raw energy. Just go, just do. Taurus energy, the moon in Taurus is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's retreat back to our comfort zone just a little bit. Let's get grounded here. Let's get comfortable here. We've moved forward. Let's give ourselves a chance to like adapt and get comfortable in this new level we're in, whatever that looks like for you. And the moon in Taurus is exalted, so it likes to be in Taurus. It craves comfort. I feel like Saturday and Sunday could be just like couch day, comfy clothes day, good food weekend. You know what I mean? Like, just treat yourself with the moon in Taurus. That's what it wants us to do. And really get back into your physical body, especially if there's been a lot going on mentally, emotionally, with everything we've already talked about. It's like the Taurus moon is like, just enjoy your human experience, okay? We're actually here to enjoy ourselves. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but we are supposed to be enjoying our human experience, enjoying what it means to touch, to taste, to see, to hear. Like, really lean into your senses this weekend and revel in what it means to freaking be alive. Like, it's a miracle we're even here, you guys. So that's what the Taurus moon is going to remind us of to end out the weekend. That's what's happening Saturday. Once the moon moves into Taurus at 10 a.m., yes, we still have a lot going on with Mercury and Chiron and the sun and everything we talked about, but it is going to help us kind of bring us back down to earth. It's going to bring us back down to our body, okay? Very much welcome. Me doing taxes this weekend, maybe I could wait for some nicer energy. Yeah, taxes can definitely be triggering for sure. And also pay attention to, you know, where is Aries in your chart? I know it's in your first house court, so definitely some wounds could be activated about like how you show up in the world and yourself, and maybe self-consciousness. But also Taurus, you know, Taurus probably rules your second house, right? Not a bad time to do taxes for you, actually. It could be a good time for you to do it. I guess it just depends on how you feel about money. And that could be coming up too with the Sun, Chiron, Mercury conjunction. Yay, you made it. I've seen you in the comments after the fact. Happy to see you here live. Okay, so let's move on to Sunday. And if you're tuning in at any point and you're like, I missed Friday, I missed Saturday, this video will be live for you all weekend long. Again, I'll put chapter markers so you can jump to whatever day you're looking for guidance. Yeah. Money wounds are allowed. but it doesn't have to be that way, okay? Chiron, Mercury, the sun are like, hello, parent court. Little you is just feeling like maybe there's some scarcity issues, but there's no scarcity issues. Look at how abundant you are. Look at how many friends you have all over the world who love you and like are hyped to experience your energy. It's just a matter of the mindset, right? So that's my little 2 cents for you. You know, I love you and I think you're amazing. So I will be your inner parent for a moment and like, you got this, okay? Take your little Liza Minnelli and be like, we are going to make some money, okay? We are abundant, Liza, little me. I mean, just here, this is maybe my favorite picture of all time. I don't know. All right, let's talk about Sunday. What's going on Sunday? We'll fast forward a day on our chart here. The moon is in Taurus now, and Sunday brings a nice slowdown. After the past few days we have experienced, we will take some nice, slow, comfortable energy. All we have on Sunday is the moon in Taurus. That's it. That's all we're talking about. Just getting nice and cozy and comfy and just letting ourselves be on Sunday. Like, I'm not kidding when I say if you want to just sit on the couch all day, that is definitely favored astrologically. You can tell whoever's giving you crap about it that that's what the transits told you to do, okay? So yeah, the moon in Taurus really invites us to relax, rest, really listen to your body Saturday into Sunday especially. Like, what is your body needing? Does it need rest? Does it need more food? Being in your comfort zone can actually allow you to listen to your body a little bit better. So just sitting, being, just taking care of your physical meat suit, as Court likes to say, of your vessel. The only connection the Taurus moon makes on Sunday, it happens at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and it's a conjunction between the moon and Uranus. This is like the weekend of conjunctions. All conjunctions, all the time. That's what's happening. So you can see by 11 a.m., the moon and Uranus will be in the same place. The moon's also going to meet up with the North Node, I believe, on Monday. So that could be interesting. It could give us a little ping towards our direction, where we're supposed to be going. We'll talk about that more on Monday. But Sunday, it's all about this conjunction between the moon and Uranus. Now, this could be a nice, gentle way to transition, to have a breakthrough, to change. If you're kind of letting yourself sit and rest out after all of that emotional chaos that maybe happened for you on Friday or Saturday, or working through old wounds, old triggers, the moon conjunct Uranus can be like, okay, we're shifting directions now. Normally, Uranus is like, boom, breakthrough. But with this happening in Taurus and with so much other activation that's much stronger than this conjunction between the moon and Uranus, I feel like it's like a nice change of pace. Now, it could show up for you as a disruption. It could show up for you on Saturday or Sunday afternoon as a need to like do something exciting, chase a thrill. Just, you know, make sure you're not making any sudden moves on Sunday afternoon that are going to leave you regretful on Monday morning. Listen to your body first and foremost. You know, we might not have the energetic capacity to chase the thrill that mentally we think we want to chase when the moon and Uranus meet up. It can kind of fool us into thinking like, we want to do something exciting. We want to do something different. But check in with your energy levels. Do I actually have the energy to do that today? Maybe it's best to just, you know, have the idea, innovate, think about how we want to do things differently while we're in our robe on our couch. Like, just, you know, jot it down, put it on the agenda for later in the week. But we could have some innovative ideas, or even like understand our emotions differently on Sunday when the moon and Uranus meet up. It is a nice change of pace. And I do feel like even though it's a conjunction, it'll kind of be a subtle change of pace unless it's happening, you know, forming a very strong aspect to something else in your chart. Definitely pay attention to that. But I think for most of us, because of how strong the other transits are this weekend, it's going to be like, okay, let's move forward. Let's try things a little differently on Sunday. So that's all that's happening on Sunday. Literally just a nice low-key moon in Taurus conjunct Uranus day. Only transit we're talking about on Sunday. Definitely a welcome slowdown. Federal tax returns are super delayed this year. Wow, okay. Also, you can always file an extension. That's what I did. It's like, I can't deal with this yet. We're extending. But if you're feeling motivated too, like with the new moon in Aries, if you are feeling motivated to do something, if you have the energy to do something, do it. That's what the new moon wants you to do. Sometimes I do this where I convince myself like, oh my gosh, it's going to be such an ordeal to do this. It's going to take me so much time and energy. But if I feel like an inkling of motivation to do something, I'm like, I need to take advantage of this right now. Like I need to do it now. So, you know, taxes aren't the most fun. If you are feeling motivated to do them, just like more power to you. Get them out of the way. You know what I mean? All right, let's do a little overview and then we will do our card pull. So this weekend, we have a powerful triple conjunction between the Aries sun, Mercury in Aries, and Chiron in Aries. Old wounds, past pain could be intensely triggered this weekend, especially because we have a square between the moon and Pluto too, which can bring some explosive transformation. The key here is to pay attention to what's coming up. Inner child wounds could be especially triggered under this transit with Chiron in the sign of Aries, which represents the child. So give space to your inner child. Ask your inner child what he or she needs. Ask them what you can do for them, how you can show up for them, how you can make them feel supported as your responsible adult self. That can be a really powerful tool to work through any triggers or wounding that comes up. And the goal here with all of this happening in Aries is to push forward, to move forward. We want to move forward on our healing journey. And sometimes old triggers coming up can be the thing, once we work through them, that propel us forward. So know that there could be a road bump or a crossroads in your healing journey this weekend, and know that you have the capacity to work through it as long as you're gentle with yourself and give yourself the time and space you need to really process things. The moon stays in Aries throughout Friday and Saturday as well, and it's forming a lot of supportive angles actually. So really giving us the stamina, the responsibility to be a leader for ourselves or for other people. Maybe be that own authoritative figure for ourselves, to show up for our inner child, to make sure that we feel supportive. We can also be that person for other people when the moon is getting support from Mars and Saturn in Aquarius. So the moon moves into Taurus on Saturday morning, and this will bring a nice change of pace, really asking us to move from our head with the moon in Aries coming off of this new moon back down into our body. The moon in Taurus asks us to get grounded, get comfortable, maybe slow down, relax a little bit, and simply enjoy the human experience. Remember, you're here to enjoy your senses. You're here to enjoy feeling things physically, touching things, smelling things, tasting things. Get cozy on Saturday night and Sunday. Get comfortable and give yourself a break after all of the healing that you may have gone through in the days prior. Okay, so now let's pull a card. We're going to do a 3-card pull. I love to do this on Fridays from the Everyday Tarot deck. It's just a little mini tarot deck. It's like a pocket tarot deck. I am not a tarot expert. I just read from the guidebook. Maybe one day I'll actually know my stuff about tarot, but we'll pull 1 card for Friday, 1 card for Saturday, and 1 card for Sunday. As I'm shuffling, this is your time. Ask your questions. Let me know what intentions you're setting under the new moon. This is really a beautiful time for affirmations as well, because Aries energy, the mantra there is I am. So it's all about returning to the self throughout this weekend, honestly. First, returning to the spiritual self, and then the physical self when the moon moves into Taurus. But really figuring out what feels alive inside of me right now. How can I act on that? How can I be true to my own motivations, to my own desires under this new moon in Aries? And if you didn't have a chance to set intentions or manifest, and that's something you want to do, you still have a couple days. We can work with the new moon for several days after it is exact. So it could be a really beautiful time this weekend to set intentions, especially if it didn't feel aligned for you to do so last night or in the past couple nights. Maybe it is after working through triggers or wounds that you do have some more clarity to set intentions. So, you know, if you haven't done that yet, but it's something you want to do, especially with this being the first new moon of the astrological new year, setting intentions can be really powerful right now. you still have time. And I've been feeling that way too. Like I really didn't set any intentions last night. I was like, I'm not ready to do that. I think I'm going to do that over the weekend instead. So probably be right there with you. Oh, thank you. You're so kind. Do I ever have bad hair days? Yes, I definitely do. And, there's a lot of dry shampoo happening right now, you guys. It's just like I can get done up for the half hour that I'm here with you, and then it all goes back up into a bun and I'm in comfy clothes. Oh, right. You're in Canada. I have no idea how taxes work there. Do you even have to pay taxes in Canada? Like, I thought everything was just free there, I thought it was just like a free society. I mean, that's what they tell us here in America to try to make us feel like we should leave, I think. Okay. What do we need to know about this upcoming weekend, about this triple conjunction? What message needs to come through for us? Okay. We have all cards in reverse. This deck does have reverse descriptions. So for Friday, we have the 10 of Cups in reverse. Let's find out what message needs to come through. The 10 of Cups in reverse for our Friday. To be honest, I usually get a little nervous when we pull cards in reverse, but with everything happening this weekend, I'm like, yeah, that tracks. It tracks that we're having some interesting messages come through, maybe some tough messages come through. Okay, but what is the message? 10 of Cups in reverse. You seek greater harmony and connection in your relationships. Look to your personal values. Do they match what you created in your daily life? If not, create alignment by seeking out better relationships with others and yourself. I think also inner child wounds can have a lot to do with relationships, how we relate to other people. So if that's coming up for you, that's definitely coming through in this card pull. And also remember, you don't have to work through everything alone. If that's a value for you, that you need someone who you can like rely on and work through things with, you have to open yourself up to that vulnerability, right? You have to open yourself up to those conversations with someone else. So it might be you taking the initiative under the Aries moon to be like, hey, I want to talk about something. And that can help you kind of align with your values if that's coming up for you. All right, for Saturday, we have the Knight of Wands, also in reverse. The Knight of Wands. What does he have for us? What does he want us to know? Okay, you may be acting impulsively. Hello, Moon and Aries. Trying to accomplish everything at once. What did we just talk about? This may work in the short term, but long term you could end up burning yourself out or not achieving your goals. You need to constructively channel this buildup of energy. Whoa. So on point for me and some of the friends that I've been talking to about the energy lately. It does feel like there's this rush. It does feel like we're racing towards some finish line. But remember, there's no rush. We have plenty of time, and this card is reminding us of that. You need to constructively channel this buildup of energy. Very on point for the Aries moon, for Aries season, for the first season of the zodiac. We do have a lot of raw energy to work with, but sometimes that can make us feel like we have to do something with all of it right now. And we can pace ourselves. We can channel the energy. We can release a little bit every day, use a little bit every day. It's not like we have to use it or we lose it. It's like we still have several weeks of Aries season to work with all of this raw energy, right? And then even, we're talking about the moon moving from Aries to Taurus. When the sun moves from Aries to Taurus too, it can really help us ground into whatever intentions we set, whatever motion we started during Aries season, and give us the determination and the grit to keep moving forward, to stay the course. So know that we have ample energy to work with, you guys. We don't have to do everything all at once. That's a reminder for me, just as much as it is for you. These cards are always like very on point for me. I don't know about you guys, but it's always like, okay, I hear you loud and clear. Okay, and our Sunday card is the Ace of Swords, yet again in reverse. And the Ace of Swords says, you have a new idea, but you're not willing to share it just yet. You are seeking clarity on how to express and manifest this idea. So whatever comes up for you this weekend, whatever healing conversations, emotional conversations you may have, or realizations you may have too. Remember, the Sun and Mercury are meeting up in their own right. So that could bring through new ideas, rapid ideas. There's a lot of fresh energy still. But know that like this weekend on Sunday you're not going to want to start anything. Okay. It's the moon's in Taurus. Like just sit with the idea, get grounded in the idea. And that's what the Ace of Swords in reverse is reminding us. We're not willing to share that idea just yet. We're still seeking some clarity. And that clarity could come maybe when the moon moves into Gemini, very mentally focused, or just as the week goes on, as we give ourselves more time to really sit with things, ruminate with things, allow them to settle. But if you have an idea, no, you don't have to act on it right now. Aries energy will try to convince you otherwise, but we don't have to act on everything right now, you guys. Actually, those cards in reverse weren't scary. So I'm glad. I'm glad they had some really powerful messages that came through. Oh, you're from Honolulu. Okay, when are you inviting us all to your house? Can we all have a beach vacation? I mean, everybody says Canada's great, but you really can't beat Hawaii, you know? All right, everybody, that is it for this powerful, potent weekend coming off of the new moon. Our affirmation for the day and really for the entire weekend is a simple one. I am healing. I am healing. I'm healing more and more every day. I'm healing myself. I'm healing for myself. I'm healing for the people I love. Simply, I am healing. Okay, so if you're feeling a little lost, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, come back to this mantra, come back to this affirmation. I am healing. Okay, all right, that's going to do it for this weekend forecast. I've been toying around with what times to stream, what are best for people. Let me know if you're watching down in the comments below. What's the best time for you to tune into these streams live? Or maybe if you're somebody who wants them to be a little earlier, so right when you wake up, you can just catch the replay. I posted some polls on YouTube and Instagram, but let me know in the comments as well. And if you found this video helpful, please go ahead and like and subscribe to us. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers so we can start monetizing this channel. Keep this content coming to you for free every day. It's so important to me that information is free, especially with so much astrology content out there right now. I know there are many sources you can go to for guidance, and I'm so grateful that you came to share your energy with me this morning. I'm so grateful that you showed up for yourself, that you showed up for this community we're building together. I love you. I hope you are able to navigate these tense transits ahead with ease and with more clarity after aligning with them, after coming here and understanding them a little bit better. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for showing up for yourself, seriously. The classic TV, which side? In the back, does technically work. Like you can plug it in and the screen. If you watch the outro video, watch till the very end. Like what happens on the screen is actually what it does. But I don't know about in Hawaii. In California, you cannot use classic antennas like that anymore. So it can't actually get a signal from anywhere. But it's fun. I love it. I want to do some more fun, creative stuff with it. And if you don't know, I used to work in TV news. So my little homage to my TV days, my own little TV studio I'm creating. All right. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. And remember, we're all healing. Give ourselves grace. We have plenty of time on our journey. I love you. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you right back here on Monday morning. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.